Hi, I am Cardinal Dr. Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild, Judge, founder and pastor of the Annunciation Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. Let's discuss some interactions that Jesus Christ had in the Bible here today. Now, when he was 12, he was found in the temple teaching the leadership, teaching the high priests and scribes. They were amazed at the things that Jesus Christ was saying at the age of 12. With this interaction occurring during the time of the census, he had been left back by his family because they were traveling in such a large crowd. So his family went back and got him, and that's what ended that interaction. Other interactions denote where people were going out of their way to say something to him, to ask him a question, as if they had any business talking to him anyway. First of all, they refused to acknowledge him for who he is, for who he was, and who he shall always be. Yet they wanted to know, why were his disciples plucking and eating on the Sabbath? They wanted to know, why was he healing on the Sabbath? They wanted to know, did he say that he is the only begotten Son of God? They wanted to know all of these things. Not once did they ask him, did he want or need a place to stay? Did he want or need a permanent synagogue or temple from which to teach? They never asked him the important or essential things. They never asked him anything that would verify or validify his statement that he is the only begotten Son of God. He asked Peter, who do you say I am? He said, you are the Christ. You are the Messiah. His interactions varied from place to place and person to person, just depending on what was on the mind of the people who wanted to be a bother to him at those times, or the persons that really needed assistance. When those that needed assistance or really wanted to follow him, wanted to address him, they would go to him secretly because of all of the adversity that was surrounding him pretty much at all times. They followed him everywhere he went. And anytime they had something to say to him, it was something negatively impacting, nothing from which they could learn. When he sat the crowds down to teach them, it happened to be a good crowd that he could welcome. But so many times he was faced with adversity. At the age of 12, as I aforementioned, he was teaching the scribes in the synagogues, and they were quite amazed. When his parents came back to pick him up, nobody stopped and said, is this the child that should be left here at the temple according to the scriptures because he is the Son of God? Nobody asked the proper questions to verify anything, and no one went to the proper sources. The priest would go behind the veil and bring atonement for the people, and in this, asking forgiveness from God for their sins annually. None of the priests went behind the veil and said, God, we beseech thee, this is your son. We've heard this is your son, or is this your son, to address the situation properly. What they wanted to do was be problematic and cause irritations and situations that didn't have to be. And they were nobody to be addressing him anyway, because whatever his answer was, they couldn't do anything about it. Ultimately, what they decided to do about him at all is to crucify him. But he got up from the grave. He rose again on the third day after being buried in a borrowed tomb. And he reigns today. He is, just as he always has been, and just as he always will be.